Nick Darr here with Big Z Media. Hope you enjoy the episodes of Business Over Brew, and pleased to have the Riverbend Growth Association as the sponsor of this program. Our missions are kind of the same. Really, we're attempting to educate people about business, foster business in the Riverbend community. The Big Z has been a member of the Growth Association forever, probably back to our inception as a company almost. We have always been members of the Growth Association, have gotten a lot of benefits from it. There's so many networking opportunities you can take advantage of. I've met so many great people just because I've been a member of the Growth Association and taken advantage of all the events that they have, plus just some of the resources they provide you, the relationships you build, just lots of great reasons to join the Growth Association. They do a lot of great things in the community as well. They highlight a different nonprofit every month. So really, they're just invested in the community here, and especially the small business community, which is what Business Over Brew is really all about, which is helping the small business community, because it's so important to any community to have a thriving business community. And the Growth Association has really helped with that. If you want more information about joining or events that might be coming up, they have events all the time that you should definitely take advantage of. I'm going to give you the website to go to. Just head to growthassociation.com. You can get a membership directory. You can see who's taking advantage of it. You can see about the events that are there, learn more about possibly becoming a member. Or if you already are a member, you can find out what's going on with the Growth Association at growthassociation.com. So just again, big thank you to the Riverbend Growth Association for sponsoring Business Over Brew. Welcome to Business Over Brew. I'm your host, Nick Darr. Pleased to be joining you inside the Great Rivers Tap and Grill, inside the Best Western Premier Hotel. Great restaurant here in Alton, a little hidden gem. Definitely check it out. Terrific menu, terrific staff. It is worth your time. One of the best restaurants in the Alton area. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend you do so. This is a show where we talk business with some of the Riverbend's most interesting and influential business people. And pleased to be joined today by St. Louis Regional Airport Director, Danny Adams. Danny, thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Well, we'll just start here. What does an airport director do?
So it's real interesting. The Airport Authority, we own and operate the airport, St. Louis Regional Airport. It's about 2,300 acres total, and there needs to be someone that oversees all that activity between the land, the leases, the maintenance, coordination with the FAA, IDOT Aeronautics, all that. So that's what the airport does. It's my job to kind of see the day-to-day operations, work with the staff, the 10 other employees that we have currently, and just kind of keep the airport going, overseeing the maintenance, overseeing any construction, the leases, the property management, and of course aviation as well. So that's kind of in a nutshell what I do on a day-to-day. Every day is kind of different. No 2 days are usually the same. It's a lot of fun.
Lots of events and some developments going on out there. We'll get to those in just a second. But I think people would probably be surprised by, the amount of activity that takes place at the airport on a daily basis.
Right. So yeah, we're a nice little airport. We're not the Lambert. We're not. That's not our business. We're not the commercial activity airport.
Right.
But we have a nice clientele. Our great tenant, Westar Aviation, they bring in aircraft from all around the world. I kid you not, all different countries. It's not uncommon to see anything from South America, Asia, sitting on the ramp in for maintenance. So we get a lot of business jet traffic. We got a lot of small single engine, twin engine aircraft that are based out there as well. And really just a nice community airport.
So talk a little bit more detail about that clientele. Who is your typical, average person that uses the airport?
So typical, we got about 130 based aircraft. Those are your, like you own an aircraft, you need a place to park it.
Someday.
That's what we have there. Right, goals.
Right, yes, exactly.
That's what we're there for. We have places for you to store your aircraft, to park your aircraft, work on your aircraft, and go flying when you want to. So that's our primary clientele. We cater to, like I said, 130 different T hangars. So really that's a community of small aviators, private pilots that want to go flying. But also we get a decent amount of business jet transients, Westar traffic as well.
Sure.
For maintenance working. Pretty popular, we get the Goodyear blimp coming through. So on their cross-country flights, they usually use our airport as a stop overnight and kind of reset before going on their next leg. So that's a popular visitor as well.
Always interesting to see it parked out there. Maybe we should back up a little bit, just maybe a real brief thumbnail sketch history of the airport out there.
Sure. So originally 1946 is when it was founded. So we're coming up on 80 years now, 85 years, something around there.
Yeah.
So it's been around for a while. It's regone in a few different configurations, but it's currently two runway layout format is where we're at. It was one of those World War II airports that was transitioned over to public use after the war. So that's when the airport authority kind of stepped in and oversaw management of it.
So what if someone wants to, how does someone get to be in the position of airport director? What's the path that you took to get there?
Sure. So there's all kinds of different paths. There's some retired military. There's some retired pilots. I took, I don't want to say uncommon, pretty common path. I went to school at St. Louis University for aviation. Started off doing piloting. I wanted to be a pilot.
Right.
Went to first 2-3 years of school doing that. And then about halfway through school, I saw the aviation management side of it. I thought airports were pretty interesting. You get the fun of planes, you get the fun of business, and you get to go home at night.
Right.
So that's when I really took an interest in airports and got a degree in aviation management, did an internship at an airport, and went through a really good job shadow with a really good mentor at St. Louis Downtown Airport at the time, and just kind of got exposure to the airport and really fell in love with it.
And how long have you been the airport director?
I've been at St. Louis Regional since April of 2022, so almost a year and a half.
Yeah, congratulations. You really, I don't know if it was controversial, but certainly there was a little bit of turnover and a little bit of tumult at the airport when you took over, and it seems like you've come in and really been able to settle things down. How have you go about doing that?
So it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was, I don't want to say it was easy,
right?
But it was a good challenge. Like with any business, you have your challenges you got to overcome. I don't want to say it was a bad situation I came into. It was just, there was lack of management at the time. Previous director retired and went through a few changes as well. And it was a good transition for myself, a career opportunity growth. It was a good transition for the airport, for the board, the employees. Everybody all around kind of came together and saw an opportunity to new era type thing. And I think it's been a nice, smooth, good transition.
It's got to be an interesting position. You know, I'd say everybody has a boss of some sort. Even if you own the business, you might have a spouse or whomever, somebody you have to answer to, but it's different, certainly, I think, having a board. Talk about that relationship and how you navigate that.
Sure, so it was new for me. I've always had 1 or 2 bosses. Now I got 7.
Yeah.
Which it's not bad. They're a great board to work with. They're very supportive. They share similar ideas and mindsets of what I do with the airport. So great board to work with. I think that's been a nice transition for me as well. But for me, it's providing them the information. They're the ones ultimately tasked with making decisions. And if they don't have the background information or the details of what's needed, it's hard for them to really have an idea to say yes or no.
Right.
So for me, it's just sharing them information as needed with them, keeping them updated of enough, but not too much to overwhelm them, and finding that nice balance. Sure. And I think the last several months, we found that nice balance. It's working well, and just kind of giving them what they need information-wise. So
you've got, as you mentioned, a great long-term tenant in West Darr Aviation. Talk about the vision for the airport in the next 5 years. Is it just more, hey, stay the course, let's keep doing what we're doing, or is it, you know, is there growth in the works? What's the plan? So yeah, West Darr Aviation, they're a great tenant for us. They're happy where they're at here. I don't want to say they're happy with the current setup. They need more space. Right. Even with their upcoming current construction expansion, they need more space. So we're going to see maybe next 5-10 years what we can do to further our partnership with them, see what we can do to help them expand even more. But in addition to that, other businesses as well, whether it's like a flight school or more private hangars or more personal hangars for small aircraft, expanding that out. Not necessarily the commercial aircraft. That's what Lambert's for, Mid-America. That's what they do. That's what they specialize in. But we can really build our special market of private aviators and corporate aircraft as well. Sure. Darn, so you're not going to be a commercial hub that the rest of us could fly out of. That'd be great. Maybe I don't even want to say 15 years. Maybe, One of the, I know the thing that gets a lot of attention and notoriety is there's been several restaurants that have been out at the airport. Some have made it, some have not. It's been vacant for a while, but I know there's some development on that front too. So talk a little bit about that. Actually, there's a restaurant operator. They've been in the space since May. We've been kind of quiet about it while they got set up and organized and everything, but they are up and running. They're specializing in lunch or breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So all 3 meals, 7 days a week. They're
taking a pretty aggressive approach with menus, and
Great.
it should be a popular spot. We're hopeful that they're going to bring in quite the clientele, and not just the people in the community, but the aviation community as well.
Right.
People fly. Kid you not, we had somebody coming from Indianapolis wanting to eat at the restaurant. So they fly in from all around, and it should be a nice little boost for the community as well.
You know, I noticed in previous restaurants when I had eaten there that it seemed like maybe that was just like a nice little trip. People would fly in, eat, and I guess that's something that people with planes do.
Yeah, it's pretty $100 hamburger is what it's called.
Okay.
So, but cost of fuel and everything, by the time you get there, you're paying $100.
$100 hamburger.
Lunch.
I got you right. Yeah.
Like, you want to go on a road trip in your car. You got a nice little car you cruise in. You want to go somewhere nice. It's not necessarily the destination. It's the experience to get there, right?
Mm-hmm, sure.
So for the people with planes, it's the experience of flying somewhere to get food, spend the day, and then fly back home. So
very cool. I know you've got a big event coming up in September too. Tell our audience about that.
Yes, our 27th annual flying event. So September 30th and October 1st. It'll be both days from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Very traditional to previous years. We'll have static display aircraft. We'll have people be able to fly their planes in and visit the airport. We'll have a car show. We'll have plenty of food, whether it's at the restaurant or food truck vendors or food that the EAA is cooking. There'll be farmers market, kids zone, bounce houses. On Sunday, October 1st, kids ages 8 to 17 can go on a free flight with a pilot, so that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I don't know where else you can get a free flight, so 15, 20-minute flight around the area,
cool.
free of charge. So it's a great program that we kind of partnered with Bethalto Chamber of Commerce, Westar's playing a part of it, and EAA Chapter 864 based at the airport, all coming together for this great event.
Where can people go to get more information on the event?
Sure, so visit stlouisregional.com. Or our St. Louis Regional Airport Facebook page.
I assume you can go there for all information about the airport that you want to check out.
Certainly.
What's the most rewarding aspect of your role?
So for me, it's seeing things develop. So you do all this planning, you do all this coordination on projects or construction or whatever it is, and it's seeing actually movement happening finally. So
sure, yeah.
Whether it's redoing a runway or building a new building, like a lot of planning goes in. It's with any job. It's nice seeing things actually develop.
Right. On the flip side of the coin, not necessarily negative, but just the most challenging part on a day-to-day basis for you.
I think the most challenging, and it's nothing against the people I work with, it's managing people.
Sure. They're all hard
to
manage,
no matter how much
you like them.
Managing people is easy.
Sure,
There's always a conflict or something that comes up, and I think those are the fun challenges. They're the good challenges, getting the group to work together and everything. But you never know what you're going to walk into. So,
in a year and a half on the job, what have you learned? You know, what do you know now that you didn't know 18 months ago that's been helpful to you in the managing people area?
In the managing people, communication. Mm-hmm. I think communication is key.
Right.
Like with the board, the more information you can pump out and share without overloading, I think the better everybody is. A lot of people just want to know what's going on.
Right.
And the better I can share what I have with other people, I think it goes a long way.
I think some people are just wired to, if they don't know what's going on, they kind of tend to jump to the worst possible conclusions. So, like you said, by communicating, you can avoid some of that and say, no, we're not trying to, it's not what you think. It's, here's what's actually going on.
Sure.
And that's something that I've learned, continue to learn on a daily basis, that, over communicate, because if you don't, you're absolutely right. They just, if people are in the dark or confused about something, then they tend to sometimes jump to the worst possible conclusion. So.
Rumors are great. I find some really interesting stuff from rumors, but
they're entertaining, I would say.
There you go.
Right. Yeah. You definitely hear some wild ones, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure.
But well, Danny, thanks so much for coming on the show. Last question: if somebody were aspiring to get into your position or just into aviation, what would be a good first step for them?
So I'd say network. Reach out to industry, whether it's me or another airport or a tenant of mine, reach out and just make those connections. Go for a visit, go for a shadow for a day, do any type of intern networking events that you can. The more you get out there and put yourself out there and make yourself available, I think the greater success you'll have. It worked for me. It's not easy, it's not comfortable, but putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations just to get your name out there, get more experience and exposure to different aspects of the career field or different parts of the job, I think goes a long way.
That's such good advice. I can't express enough how important networking has been in my career. I was telling a story at a networking group this morning, actually, that I was in, about being in starting in a group 20 years ago in networking, and just not only did it help me, grow my business and sell advertising, but just the things I learned about how to talk about my business and how to, quickly relay what I do and why they might want to consider me. It's just that part has been certainly valuable. But then the relationships, like you said, any business, any job is nearly impossible without good, solid relationships. And like you said, getting out there is kind of the way to do that. And speaking of that, the Growth Association presents great networking events. Can you talk a little bit about your guys' membership in the RBGA and how it's been beneficial to you?
So I know the airport's been a member for a while, but since I've been on, we've been a member for a little over a year now. It's great. All the different businesses in the community come together with the Growth Association. And really, for me, it's been a great opportunity to meet different leaders, different just participants in the community, and engage in different events and just see what's out there. And there's a lot in this area. And at first, I was not aware of everything, and being a member really opens up the doors, and you can see what all there is.
Well, one of your predecessors, Dave Miller, was in it for a long time. He was actually retired and still on the board. I used to joke with him. Sure. I said, "You're the only guy that wears a tie, and you're retired." So, to the board meeting. So, shout out to Dave, as he was a valuable member of the Growth Association for a long time, and now you're continuing that. So, great to see that. And just thanks so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it, and best of luck to you. Anything else people should know about the airport before we let you go?
No, my favorite thing to say is we're surrounded by a fence, but there's no secrets. I'm happy to share what information I can, whether it's on the airport or development or economic impact, jobs we have. I'm happy to share whatever I can. And anybody that's interested, feel free, reach out to me. I'm happy to make those connections. So
awesome. Thanks for coming on.
Likewise.
No editing necessary. Thanks.
Here we go.